Here in this video, we're going to talk about, is the Moass dead at this point? Is it going to happen? What do I think? Because, I mean, we've been covering this stock for years. We've seen a lot of ups and downs, that's for sure. And we're trading at some of the lower levels that we have been at. What's next? And what's important to know? Now, there is an aspect that I don't think a lot of people are appreciating that is very important for AMC stock that will have a big role to play in the upside that we do get. So I want to talk about that, just share my opinions. Obviously, this is not financial advice. This is not your financial planner advice. This is not, I'm not a fortune teller, obviously. These things can be uncertain and highly volatile, that's for sure. Things can change day by day, week by week, and certainly month by month. But these are my perspectives. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section as well. Let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. Is the Moass dead? Let me answer that question right now. No, I don't think it is. Now, there is a certain dynamic of... I don't want to say faith because that's too much of kind of like, you don't know, right? You're like faith, right? You guys understand that word. Well, there's a certain degree of logical deniability that some people do have when it comes to AMC. The short interest itself, if you're looking at that as the metric of squeezability, which is generally often considered to be the main metric, well, AMC's short interest of free float, very underwhelming. Let's go ahead and pull up AMC for all of you guys, just to make sure everyone's on the same page here. Let's see. My 70 tabs open definitely doesn't help it load any faster. 9.14% short interest of free float. So this is where I don't want to call it faith, but I can't think of a better word. If you believe there is only 9% short interest, then the trade is probably over. If you are someone that is like me that believes the number is a lot higher than that, like a lot higher than that, the trade is far from over. So I think we've seen enough evidence to support the fact that hedge funds and institutions are covering up their short positions, right? Why would you not? Why would you not cover up your short position? If you're massively short, if you've been shorting phantom shares and the flow is, hundreds of percents sold short, right? Why would you not cover up your short position by buying some options? AMC stock is cheap today relative to where it has been over time, over the last couple of years. It's very inexpensive to hide your short position today compared to what it used to be. I've talked about this many times, but there is this new rule change that is going into effect later into this month. It might be 20 or 30 days after that we start to get some of this data that will be reported. And that is like basically all of your short position data that we want to know. Like who is facilitating these trades for AMC, what kind of collateral is backing AMC, all kinds of information. But the position still could be covered up to some degree because of this activity you're seeing in the options market. Just as of the last couple of days or so, you've seen like $18 billion worth of option activity. If you were to kind of extrapolate that into how many shares or dollars could be hidden, that could be being hidden by this $18 billion or so of option activity over the past week. I mean, you're looking at $50 or $100 billion worth of option activity. AMC's flow is $1.5 billion. So eventually, as long as AMC does not go to zero and the business just fails, you will see short sellers that will have to close out their positions. That will happen at some point. At least that's what I'm expecting to see. Now, who knows? It could take a while. Sometimes, these shorts don't like to cover for a long time. And we've kind of seen that for a while. But I find it 0% likely that short sellers covered on their positions. That we went from 30% short interest to 9% short interest in the same time span. We have fallen 80 or 90%. I can't make that math. I can't make that make sense. So the only logical conclusion that I have is that, well, we're still heavily shorted, very, very shorted, but we just can't exactly see those short positions. They are, in fact, being hidden from us. And we continue to see retail is very bullish on AMC stock. Basically, every single day you're seeing call volume in the 60 to 70% range, put volumes in the 20 to 30% range. These are very good numbers. Now, I think on the other aspect of this, AMC's business fundamentally has been improving. That's no surprise, right? AMC has been doing well fundamentally. AMC's management and AMC's leadership is not okay. Adam Aron is not okay. He has been using AMC stockholders as a piggy bank for far too long. And this last dilution really just kind of nail in the coffin for me. I was a big fan of Adam Aron and what his policy has been so far. You know, just keeping AMC alive, doing what he ultimately thought was right for AMC's as a business and for stockholders. That meant some dilution, sure. This last round of dilution when AMC was $11 per share was totally uncalled for. The risk reward made absolutely no sense when it looked like stocks were going to rally. Now, interest rates are a big factor as well here. Interest rates have been going higher for a long time. This has been draining capital out of our markets. It's been draining capital out of AMC. It's been draining capital out of, Palantir. It's been draining capital out of DraftKings or Fubo or SoFi or Square or Tesla or Apple, Nvidia. Doesn't matter. There's been liquidity drained out of our markets over the years. Now you're starting to see, we're heading into 2024, rates are expected to be decreased by about 1%. No longer being increased, but decreased by about 1%. And AMC, Adam Aron really thought now was the time to dilute shareholders. I think the guy needs to be fired. That's just me personally. I obviously can't, make that happen by myself. But I think he should definitely be fired for this last round of dilution. Just made absolutely no sense. And I think AMC, on a side note, the stock price of AMC and the drop we've seen is really reflective that you cannot dilute shareholders anymore, or the stock could literally be in danger of going to like delisted territory, like in the pennies, just based on dilution alone, even though the business itself is doing better than it has in many, many years. Now, this chart is a chart of money market funds and the total assets that are held in them. As you can see, during times of uncertainty, during times of fear, the money in money market funds tends to really grow. This is basically like an instrument for short-term duration treasuries. People pool their money together. You can make it, a 4 or 5% yield, and you can get your money out of here quickly. It's not as unliquid as a treasury where you actually have to go like cash it in or go sell it out. This, you can move your money around pretty instantaneously. So this money in money market funds, I'm interested to see what Q3 data looks like for 2023, but it's at about $6 trillion. Usually when you peak out, the assets under management in money market funds can fall 40+%. If that were to happen this time around, you could see $2 to $3 trillion come back into our markets. And that would obviously be massive for stocks, especially your interest rate sensitive companies. Those are the companies that are really going to benefit in 2024. Stocks like I'm invested in, like an AMC, like a SoFi, a Fubo, a DraftKings, your small and mid cap stocks, your interest rate sensitive companies. That is going to be a big deal when money does start to flow out of bonds into interest rate sensitive companies. That's where I think AMC stock can see a lot more of that explosive upside, as long as we don't have this dilution over our heads. Like, we need some kind of commitment from Adam Aron that they will not dilute shareholders for for a while or something at this point. Without that, I find it very hard to sustain a massive rally. But we'll see. Obviously, there's I'm sure there's talks about that, just considering how much AMC's share price has actually fallen. But over the past 2 years, you've had this drag on AMC stock based on interest rates, going higher alone, let alone anything else that has happened, dilution. That's been a net drag to AMC's business for literally years now. And now that rates are going to be falling in 2024, that makes it easier for AMC to finance, right? To go to the bond market and raise capital instead of maybe diluting shareholders. And that can be pretty attractive as well to hold some equity value for shareholders. So we'll obviously have to wait and see. But as rates do go lower, that should be very good news for AMC stock. And I would expect AMC to react positively off of that, as long as we're not getting dilution after dilution after dilution. That's where the situation, just is a lot trickier to try to read. Dilution's never going to be seen as a good thing, especially when AMC doesn't have to. Like, AMC doesn't have to dilute shareholders, but they continue to do that regardless. Now, let's just take a quick run through of the data here. 9.14% short interest of free float. Like I said, $126.38 million worth of short positions currently on AMC stock. Days to cover 0.76, 18.08 million shares that are currently sold short, 13.71 million shares currently out on loan, cost to borrow 1.3%, utilization almost 31%, short score of 54.3 out of 100. So again, if you believe these numbers, and I want to be very clear, if you believe these numbers are truly accurate and you don't think any short positions are being hidden, you want to probably not be in AMC stock, at least for the reasons of a short squeeze, right? Because these are not very squeezy numbers. Now, if you think along the same lines as I do, and there's a lot of short positions being covered up, then the short interest could be way, way higher, and likely is way, way higher than what these numbers look. Now, if you look at the Stocko tracker data as well, week by week by week, you continue to see some very large option activity, even expiring tomorrow on Friday. About 11,000 calls currently in the money, 74,000 calls out the money, 16,000 puts in the money, and 22,000 puts that are out the money. If you're looking at December 15th is going to be a very large expiration as well. About 10,000 calls currently in the money, 76,000 calls out the money, 14,000 puts in the money, and about 60,000 puts that are out the money. So December 15th is going to be a big one. And then on January 19th, 2024, that is another big one with already 40,000 calls in the money and 100,000 calls out the money, 35,000 puts in the money, and about 53,000 puts that are out the money. So a lot of activity, basically month by month, and that continues to show there is a lot of activity around AMC stock. There are a lot of people that still do believe in the stock and want to see the stock do well, and I think that is also another unquantifiable aspect of AMC stock that is so much different than some random stock out there. Some random stock out there is only going to do so well because not everyone knows about it, right? You have to know about a stock to be able to buy a stock. AMC stock, everyone knows about. Everyone's able to buy AMC. Everyone literally knows about it for years now. I think AMC has went under a lot of people's radar for a long time. Some of that has to do with dilution, the fact that AMC cannot catch its own footing because of this dilution, but I think that will change as capital does flow back into our markets. You will start to see that flip dramatically, and I think AMC stock can and likely will still go through a Moass event. As to how high AMC will go or when we will go through a Moass, I don't know. Some point in 2024, you're probably likely to go through the Moass, but how high do we go? I don't know. It's really hard to tell. A 10x from here would be $70 per share. Do I think we go higher than 70? Hell yeah, I do. Can we 10x from 70? Could we go to, 700? Sure, that's a possibility as well. I mean, just getting back to all-time highs on the split-adjusted basis would put the stock at almost $400 per share. I think if we got back to anywhere close to that, a lot of people would be happy with, right? I think if we got back to $50 right now, people would be ecstatic with that. Most people would be pretty happy with that. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section, where you think AMC stock can go. I do think right now is a pretty interesting risk to reward potential and opportunity for AMC, as long as we do not continue to get dilution. We need to get Adam Aaron here on the channel. We really need to talk to this guy. Ask him what in the hell is going on, dude. You know rates are going down in 2024. You know that alone should benefit AMC's stock price to go higher. Why are you diluting shareholders at $10 per share, $9 per share, $7, $8, $6 per share? Why are you doing that? Makes no sense to me at all. Makes no sense. And if retail were to sell out of their shares today, well, there would be no AMC piggy bank left. And that's kind of the road he is leading down. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.